The endless barrage of battle had taken its toll on the Celestial Confederation. Despite the resounding victory at the Halcyon threshold, the war raged on. The Mekkah, relentless and ever-adapting, pressed their attack with an inexhaustible tide. By yet another wave, endless numbers of dreadnoughts, cruisers, and swarming fighters converging ever closer to the Confederation's inner sanctums. Resources dwindled and hope wavered as the shadow of the malignant one spread its influence deeper into Confederation space. Entire colonies, once teeming with vibrant life and culture, were reduced to abandoned wastelands. The Confederation's peace and prosperity now appeared to be directly threatened. Its Starforge fleet decimated the Mekkah time and time again. But its resources would not last indefinitely. The cries of the fallen who had taken their lives to avoid assimilation echoed through the void, a haunting testament to the Mekkah's ruthlessness. Commander Melchizedek, his face etched with both determination and the strain of unyielding conflict, stood on the bridge of the Starforge Elohim. He had faced the Mekkah in countless battles and emerged victorious time and again. His mind swirled with memories of recent victories, now haunted by the cost at which they had come. Despite the valor of his fleet, the realization gnawed at him. The Mekkah's numbers seemed infinite, their adaptability a constant threat that defied even the most brilliant of tactics. Yet now, as he stood on the precipice of another battle, he felt an unfamiliar sensation creeping into his heart. It was the weight of the galaxy, heavy on his shoulders, a burden that seemed to grow with each passing day. The once unshakable commander now found himself questioning his own strength and resolve. He had witnessed firsthand the horrors of the war, the countless lives lost, and the devastation that followed in its wake. The memories of battlefields strewn with the remnants of once thriving colonies haunted him. The worlds consumed by the insatiable maw of the Mekkah war machine were a constant reminder of the stakes. Each destroyed planet, each devastated world, was a testament to the relentless advance of their enemy. His spirit, once a beacon of hope for his crew, now flickered precariously in the encroaching darkness. The commander who had once inspired legions now struggled to find that same inspiration within himself. Sleep offered no escape, for it was there that the horrors of war truly took hold. Night after night he was plagued by visions of burning starships, shattered planets, and the lifeless eyes of fallen comrades. These nightmares were relentless, a cruel reminder of the cost of war. The faces of those he had lost, the screams of the dying, and the destruction of everything he held dear haunted his every slumber. He had always believed in the Confederation's ideals, unity, peace, and the inherent faith in the Creator. These principles had guided him through the darkest of times, a moral compass that never wavered. But now, faced with the relentless advance of the Mekkah, doubt gnawed at the edges of his convictions. The ideals he had once held so dear seemed distant and unattainable in the face of such overwhelming adversity. The Mekkah forces were unyielding, their advance seemingly unstoppable. Each day brought new reports of abandoned colonies and suicidal deaths, each one a blow to the fragile hope that still lingered in his heart. Doubt gnawed at the edges of his convictions. Is this how it will end? The question lingered in his mind, a shadow that refused to be dispelled. He had always been the one to provide answers, to offer solutions, but now he found himself adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The weight of command pressed heavily upon him. Every decision, every order carried the potential for immense consequences. The lives of his crew, the defense of colony worlds, and the very survival of the Confederation rested on his shoulders. He bore the responsibility for the lives of his crew, for the defense of the colony worlds, and for the very survival of the Confederation. The burden was immense, and the stakes had never been higher. The defensive systems of the colonies under his protection were stretched thin, and the enemy's relentless assault showed no signs of abating. Each day was a battle for survival, a struggle to hold the line against an overwhelming force. The Confederation's insignia, once a symbol of hope and unity, now seemed like a distant memory. The ideals it represented were being tested in ways he had never imagined. Yet for the first time in his illustrious career, he felt utterly lost, adrift in a sea of despair. The commander, who had always found a way forward, now struggled to see a path through the darkness. Adrift in a sea of despair, he searched for a glimmer of hope, a reason to keep fighting. The battle was not just against the Mekkah, but against the darkness that threatened to consume his very soul. But amidst the encroaching darkness, a glimmer of hope appeared. It was as if the universe itself was offering a beacon, a sign that all was not lost. This light, breaking through the oppressive gloom, was more than just a physical phenomenon. It was a sign from the Creator, a sign to strengthen his enduring faith and to reignite the light of hope. Melchizedek began experiencing strange, vivid dreams, visions that seemed more real than reality itself. These dreams were not mere figments of his imagination. They were intense, almost tangible experiences that left him questioning the very nature of his existence. Each night, as he lay in his quarters in the vast expanse of the starry sky, the dreams grew more vivid, more insistent. He saw a swirling vortex of energy, a nexus of power unlike anything he had ever encountered. This vortex was a mesmerizing dance of colors and lights, a cosmic ballet that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe within its spiraling depths. It was both beautiful and terrifying, a force of nature that defied comprehension, and at its heart lay an artifact pulsating with an otherworldly light. This artifact was unlike anything Melchizedek had ever seen. It was ancient, yet it seemed to hum with a life of its own, as if it were a living entity. The light it emitted was not just a glow, it was a pulse, a heartbeat that resonated with the very fabric of the cosmos. This was no ordinary dream. It was a message, a call to action that could not be ignored. Melchizedek woke each morning with a start, the images from his dreams seared into his mind. He knew that these visions were not just random thoughts, they were a directive from the Creator, a mission that he was destined to undertake. It was a message, a beacon cutting through the fog of despair that had settled over him. This beacon was a guiding light, a source of hope that pierced through the darkness of his doubts and fears. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope, a light that can lead the way. The artifact, he somehow knew, held the key to ending the war, to repelling the Mekkah, and restoring balance to the galaxy. This knowledge was not just a belief, it was an unshakable certainty that filled him with a sense of purpose. The artifact was the linchpin, the crucial element that could turn the tide of the conflict and bring peace to the galaxy. The dreams were relentless, repeating each night with increasing clarity. Each vision was more detailed, more vivid than the last, as if the universe itself was urging him to act. The repetition was not a burden. It was a call to arms, a reminder that time was of the essence. Each time, the message was the same. Find the artifact. Unleash its power. Save the Confederation. These words echoed in his mind, a mantra that guided his every action. The path was clear and the stakes were higher than ever. The fate of countless lives depended on his success. The artifact was his only hope, the last bastion against the encroaching darkness. It was a symbol of resistance, a beacon of light in a world shrouded in shadow. Melchizedek knew that without it all would be lost. The darkness was closing in, but the artifact offered a chance, a sliver of hope that could change everything. He knew with unshakable certainty that he had to find it, no matter the cost. This mission was not just a duty, it was a calling, a purpose that defined his very existence. The journey ahead was fraught with danger, but Melchizedek was undeterred. He was ready to face any challenge, to overcome any obstacle in his quest to find the artifact. The fate of the galaxy, he realized, now rested on his shoulders. This realization was both a burden and a source of strength. The weight of responsibility was immense, but it also gave him the resolve to push forward. Melchizedek understood that he was not just fighting for himself, he was fighting for the future of the entire galaxy. And with that knowledge, he set out on his journey, determined to succeed.